This is the future of racing. Where pilots and flying machines merge at the digital frontier.
Welcome to Vlog Fridays, everyone. Today we have an incredibly exciting company who are making flying car races a reality. Welcome to the show, Jack.
Thanks, James. Thanks for having me.
How do you feel being on Vlog Fridays?
Oh, it's a dream. Always wanted to be here, but it's now reality. Thanks for having me.
Great to hear. Well, it is a dream for me to have a flying racing car company on Vlog Fridays, so I can't wait to ask you all the questions and hear what you have to say. So let's get started. Jack, can you first tell us who Airspeeder are and what you do?
Yeah, Airspeeder are the world's first flying car racing league. It's a sport that's been devised for the 21st century. It's the next generation motorsport. And what we're doing is bring flying cars to our screens around the world through the format of racing as a way to drive innovation through competition for the UAM or urban air mobility scene.
Excellent, excellent. And can I just ask, why flying car races? What got you guys into this?
I think, why not? I think that's the bigger question we should be asking. Look, flying cars is something we've always dreamed of. We've had it in pop culture or science fiction, zeitgeist for years. I think things like Star Wars, Back to the Future, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, Jetsons, we've always wanted one. Now we're actually on the cusp of them becoming a reality. Now, most of the market is looking at creating flying taxis or benefits for cargo. But for us, we think that any mobility revolution, in fact, every mobility revolution, be it the automotive or aviation, started with racing, allowing a space and a place for the industry to test technology, drive it, gain public acceptance, and push the technology through.
I have so many questions which I could ask you here. I'll try and do justice to everyone at home. But something you just mentioned there, Star Wars, is this going to be like pod racing that we saw in the first film?
Yeah, episode 1, I think it's fair to say that the film wasn't great, but the pod racing scene is brilliant. We take a lot of inspiration from Star Wars. If you think about that scene, it's amazing settings and backdrops and desert environments. And we've just released today a drag race in the Flinders Ranges of South Australia where you get the similar effects of that beautiful red dust that feels very otherworldly. And that's very much, it's an important aspect for us. In creating this new race, we don't have to race over familiar territories or race over a tarmac. We can do this in remote locations, beautiful exotic locations over water, ice, snow, and beautiful red deserts. So there are some elements we take, but as you see from that movie, safety is a big concern for those pod racers. We take it a little bit more seriously here at Airspeeder.
Can you give us a bit of a timeline of where you are at now with flying car races and where you expect them to be over the next 10 years?
Yeah, we just released our first drag race footage. Now this is where you see multiple vehicles in the sky racing at the same time. But it starts to ramp up from here, which is exciting. So we've got some other test races that we're showcasing later on this month, where we change the format up from drag into something maybe a bit more like pursuit circuit racing. And then we start the bold adventure of moving onto the international circuit. So this is where we start to introduce our international teams, international locations, and hopefully bring flying car racing to a location near you.
Jack, how are we going to experience flying car races? What will they be like?
Well, it's a sport that really has been built for broadcast. Now, we do that from a safety standpoint, flying in remote locations, but being able to bring this really exciting sport to the masses. What you can experience or what you can expect is exciting, close-knit motorsports, full grid racing over remote, beautiful locations, low to the ground, only a couple meters off to really capture that speed. Augmented reality sky gates. We've got filming drones that are in the mix as well to be able to give you the perspective of the races, as well as the ability to be able to even hop into the cockpit using things like virtual reality to be able to get the perspective of your favorite pilots. So this is just a bit of a flavor of what you can see of how we're bringing flying car racing to you.
So how fast do these cars go at the moment and how fast do you expect them to go in the future?
So at the moment we are hitting about 120, 130 kilometers per hour, which is not that fast. But we've got to remember that this is new technology. And when I think about where we are in relation to the automotive world, I'm thinking somewhere in the 1890s, like those steam-powered quadricycles. And they weren't fast either. But they got quick very quickly through racing. So at the moment, 120, 130. By the end of the year, we're expecting 150. And then next year, with the new vehicles coming in, there'll be 200K plus.
Jack, when do you think this will be a popular televised event?
Well, we are racing already. Our first internationals will kick off next year. We are racing remote locations initially, but we want to bring that to urban locations in the future. So maybe that's 5 years down the track when the technology is safe, we've proven it out. And then I think when we're racing over somewhere like the Bay of Monaco, I think we can say we well and truly have made it.
Great. So a question personally for me, I don't know if I want to share this to everyone because I don't want the competition, but you were just speaking about the pilots. How does someone train up for something like this?
Are you hinting at trying to become a pilot, Jack?
I mean, I'd like to keep the option open. Who doesn't want to race flying cars?
I have got your resume right here. So look, we're taking pilots from all different courses of life. We've got pilots from civil, military, aviation backgrounds, drone racing, esports, as well as traditional motorsports, both on 2 wheels and 4. The answer to the question is we don't actually know who our pilots are. The talent pool does not exist. You look at Formula One, there is a tried and tested progress of where you move through karting, Formula 3, Formula 2, Formula 1. But for us, we have the chance to be able to search for that talent pool and build it and build that progress path. So for you, James, firstly, apply through the website. We do have a portal for all pilots. We have got our first batch coming through at the moment, but we'll be able to put a bookmark against your name for the next batch.
Great. I can't wait. That's just what I wanted to hear. Interview over. No, I'm joking. Jack, for flying car races, I'm sure everyone's kind of thinking, oh, sounds kind of dangerous. Can you tell us how you guys are overcoming these dangers, as well as the main barriers that you at Airspeeder have faced or are facing going forwards?
That's it. I think safety is our biggest concern. And while we spent a lot of time developing vehicles and the performance side, the safety side has been just as important, if not as much barrier. And for us, it's built into absolutely every single part of the sport. So we're talking about flying low, a number of safety structures that we've built into the vehicle that you can expect from having ported across from the automotive world. So things like compound monocoques and survival cells being built in for our crew racers, parachutes. But the biggest one that we had was the introduction of collision avoidance. So the ability to have multiple vehicles on the track and to do that safely means that you have to have a really rigorous network where all vehicles are able to communicate with one another. So what we've created there in our close collision avoidance network is essentially a force field, the ability for no two vehicles to hit. They can digitally bump, they're not physically touch. So it's something we've been testing from the very get-go, and it really is for us the key to be able to unlock true motorsports into the sky.
Right, Jack, that was so great to have you on. That's the end of my questions. I'm just going to say to anyone watching at home, I'm sure there are a ton of things which I didn't ask, which you would love to hear about Airspeeder, about flying cars and flying car races. So feel free to drop them in the comments below. How was your experience on Flock Fridays, Jack?
That was brilliant, James. Everything I hoped for.
Excellent. I'm very happy to hear. So everyone at home again, make sure you go over to Airspeeder's LinkedIn. They've got a great YouTube channel as well where they share all this content. Head on over there and give them a follow and see where this goes in the future and if it's going to be like pod racing from Star Wars. Thank you very much for coming on, Jack.
Thanks, James.